Alrighty, y'all. On to the next trade here, and we saw some rumblings of this last night, and I was like, "Whoa!" I'm not really sure why this is happening, and I'm gonna elaborate why I'm still confused that it did happen. So Kelly Olynyk did get moved. We figured that was going to happen with Utah. He's on an expiring deal, but along with Ochai I can never say the name Agbaji. I apologize. I actually had some experience coaching against him when he was at Kansas, but don't worry about it or anything. But yeah, they're on the way to the Toronto Raptors for Kira Lewis, Otto Porter, and a 2024 first round pick. So initial thoughts and everything. Really thought Kelly Olynyk was going to end up in OKC. I feel like they had the assets to just make that happen. Felt like it was a perfect fit. Whatever. They're already giving up on Abaji. Kind of interesting there, but they did get a first round pick from them. So that's pretty cool that you got a first round pick for those guys. It's too bad that you had to give up both of these guys for just one first round pick, because we anticipate the Kira Lewis and Otto Porter are just kind of the salary fillers to acquire that first round pick. But why do the Raptors want Olynyk? And what are the Jazz kind of thinking with this? So let's start out with the Toronto Raptors, right? Since they're getting these players, the Raptors are kind of entering into this like pseudo rebuild stage where they're trying out like a bunch of these young players and seeing which ones fit. The Agbaji one kind of just seems like they're like, hey, throw him in, and we're gonna throw him in with like the rest of our like deep little asset of wings that we have going on, and we're going to see if he fits in here. Agbaji has been a pretty good defender his whole time in the NBA. We can look at his exact numbers and everything. I was actually looking at his on-off numbers, and needless to say, he hasn't been a very elite contributor on a basketball court yet. He's young. The offense hasn't really figured itself out yet completely. It was a little bit better his rookie season. It's fallen off a bit this year, and that's maybe because they're playing with more bigs and stuff like that, but it hasn't quite worked out for him yet, so I find it hard to believe that they're going to find room for him on this team unless the Raptors are making more deals, because they're still trying to develop like Grady Dick and stuff like that. So that all seems kind of weird. Why they're bringing in Olynyk, I guess to have a reserve center and everything, but like they must be pretty confident they're keeping Kelly Olynyk, and is Kelly Olynyk really a part of their long-term plans? Like, that's what I'm confused about. If you're a Raptors fan, right? Like you were like, okay, we kind of see what we're doing. We're not going into complete rebuild through the draft mode and everything. So clearly they didn't value the pick very much. That's why they got rid of it. But also, like, what is Kelly Olynyk really doing for you right now? Maybe they're thinking they're going to be more competitive soon. So I don't know. Kira Lewis is just kind of a non-factor. I don't think he's a great point guard. I brought it up before. Do y'all remember when the Pelicans were like, we're going to move Lonzo Ball so that we don't, or we can give more minutes to Kira Lewis? Kira Lewis just isn't a great NBA player. Sorry. Pretty athletic. That's kind of all he's got going for him. So that is what it is. There you go, Raptors fans. I guess you got another ball handler on the team. You have plenty of those. So I don't know. Maybe Dennis Schroeder is going to get moved today. Who knows? But yeah, I don't quite understand what they were doing here. It's a different kind of big, which is nice. Like they probably needed more shooting around like the Scotty Barnes, like quickly RJ Barrett core and everything. But like, so what? You're not going to play him with Pirtle or whatever. So I don't know. It seems like a lot to give up for a guy that you're going to experiment with that plays the same position as all the other guys that you're more established with, while also bringing in a backup center. So I don't know. Like, I'm not even talking about the players they gave up, just the pick. I just don't think a first round pick was needed to make this move happen. Like, I don't know where you're going with this. If you're the Jazz, Kelly Olynyk was expendable. He was probably going to leave anyway. They have a lot of bigs that they try to play, so that's totally fine. We talked about yesterday in the trade that they made with Fontecchio that they were pretty weak at the wing position now. So they bring in Otto Porter, who hasn't played a bunch this year. He's been pretty banged up, but reliable 3-and-D guy throughout his whole career. Helps keep them competitive, right? He can play the wing, he can play the stretch four and everything. Very much a pro's pro. Kira Lewis, I'd be surprised if he actually gets minutes on this team. I think he's just salary filler because he's on the last year of his rookie contract and everything too. They have enough ball handlers on that team. Maybe Jordan Clarkson gets moved and they find some room for him, but we haven't seen that yet. I think if you're the Jazz, though, like, I think, like, getting that first round pick is probably the best thing you were going to get. I don't know what the Thunder were willing to put on the table. Maybe they liked this pick more and everything, and they liked the idea of getting an Otto Porter back so they can still try to keep it moving with the growth that they've had this season. I've always said that organizations shouldn't just like quit on these seasons. Like they should keep trying to win, keep trying to build good habits for the next year, especially for the young guys on the team. And so bringing in an Otto Porter at least does that. And then, like I said, you don't have to worry about Kelly Olynyk falling out of the rotation. He was a nice player for them, don't get me wrong, but you still have John Collins, Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler to kind of play those like big man minutes whenever you need them. I do have to wonder if this means Taylor Hendricks will start to get some minutes, though, the rookie for them that hasn't gotten to play a ton. So he was like a top 10 pick, was it? I think he was like a top 10 pick. But we haven't gotten to see him play like at all this year because of that. So maybe this opens up some space for him to get on the court a little bit. We'll see. He's probably not completely ready yet, but maybe we throw him out there and we see what happens. But I like this move for Utah. Like, you had to get something for Olynyk and you got something for him. It seems like they weren't big on Agbaji anyway, so fair enough, there he goes to someone else. Maybe he gets a better opportunity there. It doesn't really seem like it. But if you're the Raptors, I'm just confused. This has been such a weird season for y'all. Like, I feel like everything fell apart when Van Vliet left. You waited too long to trade OG and everything. Like, you didn't necessarily get a haul for Siakam. Then you go and you trade a first-round pick for Olynyk and a guy that's can maybe crack your rotation. Like, I don't know. I'd be a little confused if I was a Raptors fan right now. I'd be like, what exactly are we trying to do right now? It's cool that we have Scotty Barnes that's close to an all-star level player, but like, is this the roster that we're trying to build things with? I don't understand it. I feel like holding on to that draft asset was more important, but who am I to say, right? Maybe they're going to figure something out. Maybe they say if we acquire enough of these actual like players, those are worth more than picks, and we can take all these guys and go get a star when they become available, because historically Toronto doesn't attract free agents. Free agency doesn't really even exist at this point anyway, and I don't know. I'm a little confused, to say the least. So Toronto fans, you guys are going to have to let me know what you think about this. Utah fans as well. You guys are obviously pretty active right now. Maybe another trade's around the corner. Really wish Olynyk would have been on his way to OKC, but it looks like I'm going to have a new OKC trade to talk about, which is exciting in itself. So I'll get moving on to talking about that in the next video. But thank you guys so much for watching. Leave your comments below. Subscribe, because YouTube keeps telling me I need to tell you guys to subscribe. And more videos coming today, so be ready. Thanks.